Hi, I'm Mark. This is my June review for Libra Sun sign and Libra rising. This month we have the two biggest aspects of the year becoming exact. We also have our first solar eclipse, and this is happening in your fellow air sign of Gemini. So those of you born around 19 degrees or have rising sign of that area will be affected by this quite deeply. We start the month with the Sun coming together with the North Node. This is in your 9th house. The 9th house for you is where adventure is. This is where you can explore. This is a time now that you can go on a new quest or a new adventure. So it's a time when you may change your path or direction or even your career. So there's a lot happening at the moment. We have Mars in your career house at the moment, who will move on into the 11th house later in the month. It may also be a time to develop your leadership skills, because the Sun makes an aspect to Chiron. Chiron's in the 7th house. So it's a time when you may encounter a mentor or a teacher, or you may yourself start to teach or mentor other people. On the 2nd, we have the largest aspect of the year, Saturn square Uranus, coming into a tight orb, and will be exact on the 14th of June. It comes exact 3 times this year. The first was in February and the last will be on the 24th of December. So this is why it has a major effect all year long, and it will affect into next year as well. This aspect is causing a lot of civil unrest. It's a lot of freaky weather conditions, and also issues of social justice come out. Now it's a generational aspect, but if you have personal planets that tie in, then you will be personally involved in what's going on. And for you, Libra, if you've become too staid, if you've become too set in your ways and too boring, then this aspect will wake you up, and it will force changes. Uranus is in your 8th house, the house of transformation. So Uranus will want to make changes and transformations within your life. This aspect does have a positive effect. In mythology, when these two were battling it out, Venus was born out of the battle, and this has a positive aspect on the status of women. We can see back in the 70s, when these two last came together, that Mrs. Thatcher became the first Prime Minister, female Prime Minister in the UK. And also this time we have the first female Vice President, and we've also had in sport one of the greatest horse races won by a woman, the Grand National in England. So it does raise the status of women. This is a positive aspect that comes out of this meeting of these two giants. Also on the 2nd, Mars makes a positive aspect to the Black Moon Lilith, who's in the same house with Uranus. So here you better see yourself clearly and see your motivations for why you need change, and to clear up any issues where there's negativity going forward. Then on the 3rd, Venus moves into the 10th house, which is very good, makes a positive aspect to Jupiter. This is good for finances, this is good for career and your chosen path. Then the Sun on the same day makes a positive aspect to Saturn, so you'll be very organised as well. You'll be able to put things into place easily. As a word of warning, Mercury makes a square to Neptune, who's in your 6th house of everyday routines and your daily work and business. So you need to be very careful here. This lasts for 5 days, so you just need to make sure that things are communicated clearly and there's no misunderstandings, and just check all paperwork and make sure everything's shipshape. On the 4th, we have a major opposition between Mars and Pluto, and this always brings power struggles into play. Pluto's in your 4th house of the home and the past, so it could be things that come up from the past or surrounded in the home, but your Mars is in the 10th house of career and destiny, so this could play out in your career or work as well. The thing is not to take on the power struggle. If you do have problems, enlist other people. Try and use the energy to make creative changes and not get into loggerheads. On the 6th, Sun makes a opposition to Juno, one of the asteroids, and this can always bring up a need for compromise or a need to sort out who's going to take the lead in something. Then on the 7th, Pluto makes a positive aspect to the black moon Lilith. This is in your 8th house. So now money issues or shared resource issues could come into play now, and you'll be able to investigate and see what you need to do to create a more harmonious setting within that 8th house. Pluto, remember, is in the 4th house of the home, so there could be things that you need to look at around finances and the home. On the 8th, we have the second most important aspect of the year, and this is a sextile between Saturn and Chiron. Now, Chiron's orbit is between Uranus and Saturn, Saturn being the last visible planet, Uranus being the first invisible planet. And Chiron has an erratic orbit between the two. So he can be the key to understanding the square aspect. He can help shed light on things, add wisdom and knowledge, so that we can understand what the tensions are in the square and work through them. On the 10th, we have a solar eclipse. This solar eclipse is at 19 degrees Gemini and in your 9th house. So if your sun is around 15 to 25 degrees, or your rising sign, or you have any other planets around that time, you'll be greatly affected by this eclipse. Now, this eclipse belongs to the Saros Series 5, which is a North series, and brings hunches, it brings dreams, visions, messages from the unconscious or the psychic realm. And these are very important, and they need to be acted upon if you have any of these messages. The eclipse in Gemini means you'll be bombarded by information. You'll have lots of things going on. There may be changes that you'll need to make, because the eclipse is also in your 9th house. So it's time to have a new adventure. It's saying it's time to change things. Maybe your spiritual beliefs or your philosophical beliefs will be changed now with this aspect, and this may lead you onto a new quest or a new adventure. We also have Uranus with that big square with Saturn who's itching to make changes and make transformations, so the eclipse could mark a time when these are actually put into place. There's two other aspects on the same day as the eclipse. One is a conjunction between Uranus and Ceres. Now this will bring responsibilities with it, because Ceres is about nurturing and caring, and Uranus is about freedom. So there could be some issues here, and it's in your 8th house, so there could be issues about how much care or nurture you have over someone else's property or money. And maybe there needs to be a bit more freedom given one way or the other. The other aspect is the conjunction of the Sun and Mercury. Now this will make it a little bit difficult as Mercury's retrograde, so communication, being able to express yourself and explain yourself, may not be as easy as normal. So just take more care in making sure that people understand what it is you're saying. On Saturday the 12th, Mars moves into the 11th house in Leo, and Venus makes positive aspect to Uranus. So you'll be looking to have some fun, to socialise with friends, and to generally make a great day of it. Also on that day, Venus makes a square to Chiron, so there's an opportunity to look at past relationships and heal some past wounds so that you can enjoy your current relationships. On Sunday the 13th, after such a busy day on the Saturday, you may want to just chill out and relax, because the Sun makes a square aspect to Neptune, and this can be a very low energy point. Also, with Neptune being in the 6th house, you could have an unexplained illness on that day that will soon disappear, but you have no idea of where it came from. Then on the 21st, Jupiter is also in that 6th house, goes retrograde, so we can work with the energy when a planet's retrograde. And again, this is concerning health. It's looking at health routines and making sure they are good for you and you're doing the right things. Also, with Jupiter in that 6th house, it's a good time to look at your all daily routines, whether you're at work or at home, what you do during the day. It's a good time to organise that and get them running smoothly for you. On the 21st, there's emphasis on career and destiny and your work area, because the Sun moves into your 10th house, into Cancer, and Venus makes a positive aspect to Neptune. Venus is in that 10th house, Neptune's in the 6th house of daily routine. So this is a day when you can use your creativity, use your ideas and put them into practice so they take physical form. Then on the 22nd, Mercury goes direct into your 9th house of Gemini, so communication will start to improve and things will be easier to explain now. And you better get your point across a lot easier. On the 23rd, there's another aspect that can either be used for creative change or it can result in tension. This is an opposition between Venus and Pluto this time. So again, there's a need to balance home and work. And with this aspect, subconscious impulses can come out. So you need to be aware of yourself and aware of what you're doing on a day like this, and use the positive energy to make constructive change. On the 24th, we have a full moon, and this re-emphasises the need for balance, because the full moon's in your 4th house. So this is about balance again of work and home, your private life and your public life. It's essential that you get that balance now. It's in Capricorn, so it's about success, it's about achieving, it's about getting to the finish line, being the winner. And then you also have an aspect between Venus and the Black Moon Lilith on the same day. So this is a good time to align yourself with what's best for you. So maybe time to compromise, but to make sure that what you're doing and the direction you're going in is the best suitable for you. On the 25th, Neptune goes retrograde in your 6th house, and the lessons to be learnt here and to work with are one of service to others, compassionate service to others without the need for great reward. Also, another lesson to learn is about routines, about your health and diet and fitness routines, to take good care of those, and also to develop good judgment within relationships. Then on the 27th, Venus moves into Leo and your 11th house and joins Mars. So there's much more fun and excitement on the way now. Also, Mars makes a sextile aspect to the Moon's North Node, so it's time to think about whether you need to enlist the help of others so that you can achieve that success, because Mars is very ambitious and this could be a new venture you're going on, a new project you're starting. And you need to consider whether you need to go alone or whether you need to have others along to help you achieve. The last aspect of the month, on the 30th, is an opposition between Mars and Saturn. This also triggers the Saturn-Uranus square, so that makes a T-square. Now, T-squares are very challenging energy. They create growth, but they are very challenging. Now, one of the aspects about Mars opposite Saturn is irritability, and you can be very slow to anger and then explode. So what we need to do to transform this energy is to look at the empty space on what would be a Grand Cross, and that's your 2nd house and Scorpio. So here we need to divert energy into that area. The 2nd house is about our values. It's about what we find worthwhile and that we can put energy into. It's also about growing in confidence and self-esteem. So if you can concentrate energy into that area, then that will divert from the T-square. The square to Uranus as well from Mars will mean that there is a desire to change and make good. So you can use that from the 8th house, channel that into the opposition, which will be the empty 2nd house where Scorpio is. So use passion and put energy into developing your self-esteem and your values. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe. If you'd like to leave me a message, I'd love to hear from you.